Hi, good morning, everyone. Okay, so we started with the concepts of email templates, and we have seen that Salesforce by default have an out-of-box functionality that we could also integrate the email and sending of the email from the Salesforce organization. And mostly this is a kind of facility, which is not available with other CRM. Generally, what people do is like they used to purchase some another kind of tool, some another application, particularly for doing their uh, email integrations part. But that is what a built-in functionality in Salesforce. And there are so many such of kind of things like that. You would be gradually going to learn all of them. Now, see, yesterday we have seen the plain text email template, and this was the template what we have designed. But here you can see that there is one difficulty, that most of the things are being hard coded. That means our customer name or maybe some values of the fields that are hard coded. But if for example, if I go with a few of, let me try to show you few of the similar kind of emails. Yeah. So I mean, as you can see that there are few of the emails you can see where my name has been displayed, right? And some of them might have my email ID. I'll have to search for it. But anyways, whenever you see such a kind of email where you can see your name or maybe email ID or something else, what we initially assume is like, this is something somebody is actually typing for us, that somebody maybe from Naukri or maybe from whatever, this email I got it from Naukri. So somebody is actually typing our name, but this is not in a real time. This is not a case in real time. Actually, this every value, whatever you see, what seems to be relevant, right, for you that seems to be relevant is actually being popping up from the database. And there is nobody actually is doing this manually. So this is something which actually is being captured from database. You're having a record inside their database, and the email like this who are taking up the names and everything, that is being captured, that is being fetched, that's being pop out from the database itself. So what is that way in Salesforce, that if I design an email template, now for example, I wanted to send let's say abhi Chetna ka record, I wanted to send this, I mean, as soon as this record of Chetna has been created. So I wanted to send an email to her on this email ID that, dear Chetna, your record has been created with us. And following are the details of your record, like name of candidate, location should be Bangalore, notice period should be immediate, reference ID, contact number, you have applied for this particular position, Java developer. So are we supposed to write down this every time for every candidate, for every value, for every record of Salesforce? Actually not. Actually not. We don't do the hard codings like what we did in this case. Dear Chetna, dear Rose Gonzalez, this is your record. We actually don't do that. Matter could be hard coded, but at least the values like case number, name of customer, name of record owners. So whatever you could fetch, whatever you could fetch from the Salesforce, all these, the fields records, like the field PAN number, what is the record of this current CTC, what is the record of? So whatever the fields record, there is no need to hard code that. There is a direct way in Salesforce to get this. And what we are going to use for this, a small JavaScript called merge fields, a small JavaScript called merge fields. Like, so what is a merge field? Let's first of all understand that, right? Let's first of all understand what is a merge field is. Okay. See, the merge field is a small JavaScript, that enables, if you include these, if you include this into your email template, it would dynamically fetch the data from database itself. And we certainly don't require to hard code anything. So how does the format looks like to be? This is something the format is. The syntax of this JavaScript. So it is like you first of all, whenever you are writing, whenever you are creating a merge field, the first thing is like, the syntax looks like to be that means you should have an opening and a closing curly brackets, opening and a closing curly bracket. And after that, there would be another symbol called as exclamation mark. And we usually we used to say this as a not operator. I mean, in terms of programming, we used to say this as a not operator, but in a normal English, this is something called as exclamation marks. All right, that is again available, I think, on number 1 key of your keyboard. And then after that, you have to give the name of object followed by a dot, a period, and then the field name, right? So let me try to show you some of the formats. All right, let me try to show you some. For example, I wanted to capture the details of a count object. So what is my object name? In that case, it would be account. If I wanted to capture the details of, for example, case object. So what would be my object name? Object name would be case, right? For every merge field format, as you can see, it would be case. If I wanted to fetch the details of hiring manager, what would be my object name? Object name, see, now let's me describe you one important concept. Whenever you create any custom entity, guys, listen this very carefully. Listen this very carefully. This is important to know. Whenever you create any custom entity, when I say entity, it could be a custom application like you created 208 HR management and Merkin Corporation. These are what? These are the examples of your custom applications. So custom entity means custom applications. Custom entity also means the custom objects. You created hiring manager, positions, candidate, you wanted to see them, the list of all of them, go with objects, go with setup, go with build, create object. You can see that these are the names of all of your custom objects, like all of the custom objects. Custom entity means applications. Custom entities also mean objects. And custom entity also means the fields of that object that you have created, not the standard one, rather the fields what you have created. You created all these fields. Right? Inside what? Inside position object, right? So they are called as to be custom entity. Now listen this very carefully. That's important to know. Whenever there is a custom entity, there is a naming convention in Salesforce that you must have to know. Actually, there are two different sort of names for every entity. For every entity, maybe it could be object, it could be an application, could be a field. There are two names for that. Like usually we also have like our something that is our actual name and our nickname as well, right? In the same way, every entity, it's an application, it's an object, application name, object name, or maybe a field name. There are two different forms of it. One, or maybe the first, that actually is displayed onto user interface, which we used to call as name, field name, या फिर label. And the second we used to call this as an API name. API name. First is label. The first is label, field label, object label, field label, object label, or maybe application label. The first is label, and the second we used to call it as a name, field name, या फिर API name. API stands for Application Program Interface. The full form of API is Application Program Interface. Now, what does this API name actually represents? Let me tell you, because that is more important to understand. See, Salesforce, we have learned this so many times. We had a discussion. Let me first of all get this diagram. Yeah, this one. See, so many times for different purpose, we had a discussion about this diagram. I told you that Salesforce, whenever, in case like if you are developing a product in Salesforce by using a Salesforce CRM, You're developing a CRM. You are developing a product, right? So whenever we are doing a Salesforce development, a product development with Salesforce CRM, that product would be developed as an whole package. As an whole package. Now, when I say this as an whole package, what does it mean? What does it mean? See, for product development, there are so many technologies. All right. For product development, there are so many technologies. One second. ठीक. अच्छा, हाँ, ठीक. देखो, for the product development, there could be so many different technologies. Usually, I mean, before coming to this a kind of software, this a kind of Salesforce, right? Normally, what would happen? I mean, what was happening in IT, where even this was like when I graduated, the same thing was there. Uh, like the product development usually of any kind of product, I mean not just specifically to ERP CRM, usually any kind of product would have two different phases: the front end development and the back end development. The front end development and the back end development. And if you learn the technologies like React, Angular, HTML, CSS, right? These are what? These are some of the front end technologies. These were some of the front end technologies. Now, in the same way, that was one thing. Now, in the back end, I mean, the front end it was like creating user interfaces and all that. Creating user interface, the things like this, what you see over here, things like this. These are what? These are the user interfaces. So those technologies, if you learn those technologies like Angular, React, right? CSS, HTMLs, that would make you a front-end engineer. If you go with technologies like PHP, JavaScript, and I think Ruby, and there were so many different technologies that makes you a back-end engineer. Then there was one more segment. There was one more segment called as database. If you learn Oracles, SQLs, MongoDB, that would make you a database engineer. So one product development, it was requiring certain different efforts of certain different technologies by a certain different teams. So that was, one of the reason why, first of all, the product development would require lots of amount of time, lots of amount of effort, a huge team requires to be get involved, and then the costing as well. But see, what is the good part of Salesforce? I mean, this is why I am explaining, because might be there are so many people, there might be so many people in our class, you guys, those who are starting your IT career from this technology only. Maybe this is the first thing what you are learning as an IT tech, but you must also have a knowledge of some another surroundings as well. So try to understand this. What is the benefit of Salesforce? Why this technologies? I mean, this already had maybe we already had a discussion, but chalo ek baar thoda sa aur dekh lete hain isko. So this is what, if you know everything, if you know all of the front end technology, if you know all of the back end technologies, you also know the databases. Like there might be like, there might be at least 7 to 10 technologies in that case. If you know all of them and you are having hands-on experience, then you could call yourself as a full stack developer. Why? Because you could develop the front end. You could also work in the back end where programmings have been involved. And if there is a database involvement, you can also handle that. You can create databases. You can create those interfaces, those who are making your front end or back end, whatever, to get interacted with the data. If you know at least 7 to 8 those technologies, and in every technology you are very strong, you are very sharp, that is what it makes you a full stack developer. So there is like, the full stack developer was a very what I could say would be, it is something for which IT give a very good package, but at the same time there, it's not like everyone cannot become a full stack. It takes time. It takes time, right? So there were only few full stack developers. Why? Because it would take time, then it would take lots of experience to be having to get the hands on every technologies, because it's not a easy job. It's not just like you learned one and two and three technologies. It would be something like, you are having a knowledge of at least 7 to 8 technologies. That would actually make you a full stack developer. But now see how the Salesforce actually differ. First of all, the whole product development in Salesforce, there is nothing called as front end and back end. It's only in the hand of administrators and developer, then they do the whole development. You create things like this, the user interfaces, right? And we have seen you created certain objects, you created certain objects, rest page layouts and everything that were automatically would there, right? This a kind of interfaces was automatic. You just did certain adjustments related to introducing certain different sections over here, arranging the fields into different sections. That is what. But this whole layout was already being developed, right? So developing a front end is not at all an issue in Salesforce. I could say that 70% of everything is ready-made. You just have to make 30%. You just whatever the adjustments you are making over here is 30%. Like creation of the tab, adjustments of the tab. Page layout is already created. What you are creating the fields, you are arranging them. You are creating sections, you are giving the names to the section, you are selecting the icons. All right. You can create an application, a whole application in the day one itself. You don't have to code anything. This application would consist facilities from Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud, App Cloud, digital experiences. So see, try to understand. We merely are not integrating anything. We are not writing any code. Still, we are being able to develop the front end. At the same time, when you develop a front end, in a real time itself, two things more is happening. When you are creating an object, you are creating the fields and all that. For your front end, one database table inside database.com, that is automatically is getting created, and we certainly don't require from database team, and we don't require to inform him कि भाई साहब देखो मैंने ना एक ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट किया है, उसमें इतनी सारी फील्ड्स हैं, आप ना इसका करस्पॉन्डिंग एक टेबल बना दो. And you certainly would don't require to call anybody from, from the coding team, from the developers team कि यार मैंने एक front end किया, उसका back end वो लोग बना रहे हैं, could you please make an interconnection between them, could you please write down those business logic classes that would make my front end to get interacted with back end and back end to the front end. We don't require to do all this. There is no back end, front end, full stack. No. By default itself, Salesforce development is a full stack development. That to be your efforts are very less in Salesforce. And that this was, this is going to be happen in the coding part as well. Right now, there are like 70% of the thing is coming automatically. In the same way, when we start coding, you would going to see that 70% of the code is already there inside. You just have to understand what class, what method, and how to capture those things. Basically, Salesforce development, a product development using Salesforce is very easy. It's very easy. If you are having a little knowledge of other technologies as well, you could for sure make this comparison. If you don't have that knowledge, this is your first technology, then believe on the word of the people like us, those who have worked with some other technologies. I done the development during my early days of career. When I graduated 2006, my engineering. I completed it from YCC, Nagpur. Then I move on to Pune. There I learned Java for next 6 to 7 months. I become a Java certified professional from CDAC. And I started my career in Java. For next 2 to 3 years, I was in Java. I know how difficult it was, things like, and it was thing, the whole product development, there was different stages for that. Nobody was involved into a complete phase. If you even work for 10 years with that a kind of technology, you would only become a master in your portion. If my portion is to design, is to code something, I only have the knowledge of coding. I would not having knowledge of developing the front end. I would not having a knowledge of developing back end, the database part, sorry. I would not even have a knowledge of deployment this to from one environment to another. What I was doing for past 10 years, I was doing the same thing. There is no enhancement. But Salesforce, see, what is our training module? Admin, whole non-coding part. What is that? Development of front ends. And not just front end, not just user interface, so many things. User interfaces, email integration. That is what you are learning right now. What you are learning, email integrations. With this topic merge field, you would even understand how to capture the details dynamically from database, send it to email. Dynamic integrations. Are we going to write any code? Not even this format. You have to understand the format. But even I'm telling you, you don't have to write it down. There's no need to type it. This is also automated. I'll show you that tool. What you are learning in the admin, the whole front end part, development of user interfaces, email integration, analytics, user management, security, profile management, permission sets, so many things. So many things. Then you move on to development. You learn how to code, how to customize the things, how to enhance the functionalities. That is also, you know. What is third part? Integrations. The most difficult, people used to say. Actually, it's very easy. There's only few set of coding by which you could integrate Salesforce with any another applications. And finally, deployments. In another technologies, do you know there is a separate team for deployment? People used to learn these technologies like DevOps, technologies like Copado. They used to learn this just to become a deployment engineers. And what these guys would do, they would take it from one environment and launch it to another environment. That's it. That is even not required in Salesforce. You would become a complete package. You can do non-coding, you can do coding, you can do integration, you could even deploy things. So that's what makes you a full stack developer, but not in terms of their technology, in terms of our technology. So this is what a Salesforce development is, right? That to be whole 70% to 80% efforts already is there. You just have to capture those. This is the reason, guys, why people are getting a lots of salary in Salesforce, why the packages are so high. Because you are doing what you are doing is in a normal case, it would be a part like there would be 4 to 5 different teams, 4 to 5 different set of engineers would going to be involved for doing the same. But you starting it from the day one, and you are the only person who is ending that on today on the final day of the launching of the product. ऐसा नहीं है कि आज किसी और ने स्टार्ट किया और खत्म कोई और कर रहा है, नहीं. We are involved in every stages of development till the release of the product. So that's what it by default make you a full stack developer, a complete solution architecture, right? All right. So this is something. Now I started this by what is an API name, by the way. That was my topic. Discussion goes very long, but see, we learn one thing, that whenever we create something into the front end, maybe an object, when you create an object, for that object, for example, you create position, hiring manager, candidates, whatever you created. When you create an object in front end, for that object, one table inside database is automatically created. You make this object as deployed, right? You make this object as deployed. I told you this, let me revise this once again. When you create an object, you're having one option called as deployed. If you deploy, that's a default selection. You put it in development, this would not happen. What does not happen? I'm explaining. But you put it deployed, you make it deployed. At the time of creation, if you deployed an object, when you deployed an object, the database table would automatically be created. Where? Inside database.com. What is database.com? Database.com is database repository of Salesforce. This is that place where all of the Salesforce data is getting stored. That's database repository. This is a place where all Salesforce data that is being stored, right? So one database table with the same name. If your object name is position, the database table name would also be position. Then all of the fields what you have created, they are also created inside table. But in table, fields are what? Fields are columns. Fields are columns. You're having 10 fields, your table would have 10 columns. This is what you see over here. These are labels. These are labels. What you see onto a user interface, for example, I go and edit this candidate name, notice period, or even if I'm onto the detail layout, candidate name, notice period, position applied. These are what? These are labels. What you see onto the user interface, it is called as label. It is called as label. And the database, their respective, if there is a field called as customer name, this is for this particular field, the column name for this particular field, the column name, it is called as field name or API name. The column names, the database table column names, they are called as field name or API name. Field name or API name. What you see in user interface, it is called as label, field label, field label. What you don't see, but what is there inside database table, the column names, they are called as field name or API name. They are called as field name or API name. When they are called as field name and what is API name, what is the difference? When the fields are standard fields, they are called as field name. When the field is a custom field, it is called as API name. Entities are same. Column names for every field, column name, database column name for every field is called as field name or API name. If a field is a standard field, like whenever an object is created, there are so many standard ID name created by, last modified by owner. These are the standard fields. These are automatically created. Field name, standard fields are called as field name. In the database table, the column name, if the field is standard, it is called as field name. If that field is a custom field, it is called as API name. All right. So that was important to know. And second point, every custom entity, if it's an application, if it's a object, custom object, or if it's a field, custom field, there is a naming convention in Salesforce that every custom entity is always appended with __C. The API names always have __C, _C for every custom entity. So if there is an object, custom object called candidate, its API name would be candidate __C. If there's a custom field called as contact number, its API name would be contact number __C. The white spaces are replaced by single underscore. But every custom entity is always appended, is always added. Something is added at the end. What is that? Postfixed. We used to call this as postfix. If something is added into front, it would called as prefix. If something is added at the end, it is called as postfix. So they are always postfix with __C. All right. So this seems to be a very small discussion. I could easily end up by saying that, see, every custom entity would have __C. And we could summarize this, but there were so many things. And that's why the discussion have taken this, right? But otherwise, chalo, theek hai. Whatever we discuss is important for you guys. There are so many things you should know about the Salesforce. This training, it would obviously make you aware about the concepts of Salesforce. But I could say one more thing, that I would give you that knowledge. What else? I mean, if you work in this, if you start working in Salesforce, you must also have an understanding of related surroundings. So that is everything I would going to take you. All right, I would going to give you, sorry, what take you now. Anyways, chalo. So merge fields. Let's come back to the topic. Merge fields. See, the format, the syntax looks like to be like. Syntax looks like to be like the first opening curly bracket and a closing curly bracket. Then exclamation symbol and object name. Now, object name, it's if it's a standard object, it could be given directly, like account, case, opportunity, contacts, product, code, campaign, code line. So if the object is in a standard, it could be given directly. But if your object is a custom object, then you have to give the API name. What is the API name of hiring manager, HR manager underscore underscore C? What is the API name of physician object, physician underscore underscore C, underscore underscore C, candidates underscore underscore C, author underscore C, book underscore C. That is what the object name. And same thing applied for the fields as well. If the field is in a standard field, you can give directly name, account number, industry, rating, billing address, shipping address, ownership. But if it is a custom field, you have to give it like underscore underscore C. Contact number underscore C. Location. So if you in the merge field, in short, in the merge field, if the entity is custom, in the merge field, if the entity is custom, if the object name is custom, you have to give it underscore underscore C. If the field name is custom, field name, API name, whatever, you have to write it down underscore underscore C, right? This is what the format of a merge fields. Now, do I supposed to write it? Do I supposed to type it? No, don't worry. I wanted you to understand the format. I am not saying that you have to type it. Salesforce would give you one direct tool. Salesforce have one direct tool for this. By using that tool, we could generate all these formats automatically. Effortless डेवलपमेंट है, मैं बोलता हूं आप लोगों को. अभी शायद नया लगता है हमको, थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्टी होती है, बट आज जो आपको बोल रहा हूं ना मैं, आप एक 2 साल 3 साल का एक्सपीरियंस ले लो, यू वुड योरसेल्फ वुड फील कि एफर्टलेस डेवलपमेंट है सेल्सफोर्स में. एवरीथिंग इज ओवर देयर ओनली, यू जस्ट हैव टू नो कि हाँ ये है अपने पास में. I wanted to create merge field formats. ठीक है ना, we are having one tool for that, and there is no need to type it. You just have to have an understanding that is what I mean. This was the reason I was discussing this. Otherwise, कोई जरूरत नहीं है आपको टाइप वाइप करने की, कोई जरूरत नहीं है. There's a tool for that. All right. I think we could complete this in 20 minutes. No problem. चलिए. So let me solve this use case. Otherwise, कल पे चला जाएगा ये. Configure an email template to notify the hiring manager upon creating a new hiring manager record. So if a new record inside an hiring manager object, this is my hiring manager object. If a new record inside hiring manager object would be created, so we have to acknowledge the hiring manager that dear hiring manager, a new record has been created. These are the details, contact number, senior, whatever, right? So I am not going to take this statically. Rather, हम इसको dynamic करेंगे. So let me first of all go with setup menu. First thing, I would explain you, don't worry. And then go with communication templates. Inside your administrator menu, go with communication template. Go with classic email. Yesterday also we follow the same navigation. And we have created this email template. We stored it inside this folder. Same process I'm repeating today as well. I'm creating a new template of the type text only. And then next, I'm giving the name. I'm making it available for use. I'm giving the name as new hiring manager creation notification template. This is usual naming convention what I follow. You can design your own, no problem, but try to make it more relevant. Your naming convention should be something like when somebody read it, that would reveal कि हाँ ये किस बारे में है, ये क्या चीज है. To try to give your names of the objects or whatever process, whatever you are creating, try to give this as revealing as possible. All right, try to make it more relevant. New hiring manager, creation. Whenever a record is getting created, notification, notified, we are making him notified. And this is an email template, and so the last word is template. All right. In the description, you could explain. In the description, you could explain an email template to notify something like this. Description can be more elaborative if you wanted to make it. Email notification, email template to notify this, right? Now the subject and the body, see, congratulations, hiring manager. So I would do one thing. I'll remove every merge field from here and I'll create it once again so that you would have an understanding. Okay, how come these formats are coming up and what is where is that tool in Salesforce by which I could generate. In my subject, I have to include the name of hiring manager. Congratulations, hiring manager name. But I'm not going to type it. I'm not going to I'm not going to type it like dear Swati Kumari Nilesh. No, I'm not. I would rather take it directly from database. So for that, I must have a merge field over here. Do I supposed to do it like this? I can do, but there is no need to do that. You are having a direct tool in Salesforce for this, by which you can automatically generate merge fields. Where is that tool? Where is that tool? Here. Here only. This one. This one. This would help you out. This would help you out to generate merge fields. This would help you out. See, first of all, select the object. I'm selecting hiring managers. And then you put your eyes over here. You put your eyes over here onto this. I wanted name, hiring manager name. See, put your eyes over here, hiring manager name. I selected hiring manager. I selected the field. First, I selected the object and then field. See, the merge format is automatically generated. That too bit is selected. You just have to copy, Control C and paste it, Control V. See, this automatically have been generated. Wherever you know, I'm dear, congratulations. And over here also, I wanted to have name, hiring manager name over here as well. What is the next? ID. All right. I wanted to get the merge field for ID. Let me now select ID. Owner ID, HR ID, this one. As soon as you select the field, the merge field format is automatically generated. Just copy and paste it. Hiring manager contact number. All right, let me select the field called contact number. When I select it, accordingly, the merge field would automatically generate it. Contact number. Location. All right. Location, right? You select the field. What is next? HR manager email ID. All right. So email ID, HR email ID. See, you just have to copy and paste it, right? Now this is how to get the fields. And now let me test it. So I'm subject. Yeah, subject. This is my subject. Inside the body, I'm just copying this everything from here. And I'll paste it over here. That's it. Let me do some necessary alignments if it required. Welcome. Maybe नहीं चाहिए मेरे को. Following our details, yours with us. All right. Okay. So this is see here I haven't hard coded anything, right? I haven't had. I would just select a record. I would just select. I am having all these records, right? I'm having all these records. I would select a record while testing. I would select a record. Once I select the record, for example, I select the record of Manish Singh. What is going to be happen would be like Manish Singh यहाँ पर उसका नाम अपने आप capture कर लेगा inside in the subject as well, and all these details are going to be pop up directly from this record, right? So how to do that? Let me first of all save it, and we are going to do the testings. All right, let me open that SFDC Qasim. So this is my format. This is my format, right? And let me now send, test, and verify merge fields, right? So yesterday also you did the same thing, send test and verify the merge fields, right? Now, related into this, related to record. Yesterday we didn't did anything for this, right? Today we have, because we use a merge field, right? You first of all would require to select the object, right? And then a record. You have to select a record. Otherwise, details can't say pop karenge. Now, for example, I'm taking the details of Akshay Dev is the record I've selected. Click this checkbox that is important, and then SFDC, give the email ID. First select the object. Listen this. First select the object, and you have to select that object only for which you have the merge fields. आपके पास यहाँ merge field किसके लिए है? Hiring manager के लिए. So if you are testing this email template, you must select object hiring manager and the fields of hiring manager, on records of hiring manager only. And that is what I did it. I selected object and then one record of this. Rest everything would be captured directly from this record of Akshay Dev. Let me show you that. All right, send. This is important. Send test. Otherwise, it would not deliver any acknowledgements. And give the email ID. Press this OK button. Right over here, you can test it. Dear Akshay Dev, see it has taken. Akshay. Over here itself you can check. Otherwise, आप वो email पे चलो. वहाँ पे आपको email आ जाएगा. SFDC का से. यार कल तो मैंने इसको सेट किया है. देखो ये स्पैम में क्यों जा रहा है? Why it is coming not? कल ही रिपोर्ट किया है इसको. But anyways, चलो ठीक है. Congratulations Akshay Dave. Welcome on board. Dear Akshay Dave. Did we type it? क्या हमने ये entities type करी है? Hiring manager name, hiring manager HR ID. These all values what you see, they are coming from database. Did we type it? No. Did we? We haven't typed it. हमने नहीं किया उसको. Still they are getting. You try with some another record. Let me show you. Try. First of all, select the object. Now select another record. Example, Sunil Sharma. Don't understand why it's happening. But anyway, dear Sunil Sharma, see. Congratulations, Sunil Sharma. HR manager ID. This everything is coming. It's coming from where? It's taking this every detail from the record of Sunil Sharma. From the record of Sunil Sharma, it is taking everything. Right? We are not typing it. We are not typing these values. We just have make a use of your email template, merge fields format, right? We just have make a use of merge field formats, and it is automatically taking everything from the database. And that is how you receive emails of this kind. Whenever you something with your names and everything, don't get fascinated that somebody is sitting in that organization just for me and he's typing this email with my own details. What a good effort there. No. Everything is automated these days. Don't think like that. Don't be a stupid. All right. There is an automation which is taking the detail. They are having your details in their database. They designed this a kind of automation which is picking up the details and it is firing that trigger. There is a trigger which is firing all those emails. All right. This is the way you see those kinds of emails and all that. All right. So do this by today. And there are a few assignments, as you can see. Go and complete them. Tomorrow, I would be going to start with the next type of template, and that is HTML, but by using a letterhead. Let me give you this command. You can now unmute yourself. Yes. Anybody wanted to ask anything?
Hello, sir. A basic question from me is, I mean, it's not related to what you have taught. Just a simple question. While you were typing the email, while you copy pasted the email, you rectified all the mistakes over there. So probably it was the Grammarly which was integrated. Is it integrated in Salesforce, or do we need to like put an extension in our Chrome?
This is the answer.
You have put it.
It's an extension to Chrome. There's nothing to Salesforce.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any questions?
So,
Hmm.
whenever a new record is inserted into hiring manager, that
Hmm.
hiring manager email ID will get that notification, whatever we have built right now, email template, right?
Hmm.
Directly. मतलब सिर्फ क्रिएट करने से उसको ईमेल आईडी मतलब उसकी ईमेल आईडी पे वो पूरा सब चला जाएगा.
But for that you have to design an automation. अभी मैं automation पे लेके नहीं गया हूँ आपको. अभी this is something that what we are doing it manually. Right now you are testing it from here.
Yes.
Later on, once after this, you would be learning workflows and then process builders and flows as well. So with those are the automation tool by which you could अभी कैसा हो रहा है कि you have to test it manually. But
Hmm.
in coming days, it would be like if you create a new record, or maybe even if you edit an old record as well. I mean, it's not just a case that you every time you have to insert something, a new record. Even though if you would open an old record, you do certain editing over there. That time also you could fire an email. But for that, you have to learn automation. That would be the next topic. Yeah. Any questions? All right. Thank you so much for joining.